Cottondonkey here. Today we're going to look at The Pursuit of Happiness by Artipia Games and Stronghold Games. Designed by Adrian Abela and David Chircop. I'm really sorry if I butchered those. It's for 1 to 4 players. As in life, we desire happiness. As we build our lives, we pursue happiness. In the pursuit of happiness, you play a character from birth, taking on projects, getting jobs, buying items, having relationships, raising a family.
Wow, sounds real exciting.
Until you die. Because you will eventually become old and die.
Even better, a game where eventually I'm going to die anyways. What's the point?
The point is what you do with yourself before you get to that point. What do you want to do?
Not be here.
Well, there are plenty of possibilities. So let's check out what opportunities there are for us in the pursuit of happiness. To start, what was that? Hey, what are you all doing here?
We're going to interview you.
Better question, who are you all?
Kids.
They don't look like baby goats or antelopes.
They're bored kids.
I'll say, to be on here they must be.
You should know, you're on the show. Ignore him. Interview? What do you mean?
We want you to play the game. And after you play, we can find out what weirdos. Adults think about it.
Okay, who do you want to interview first?
Doesn't matter.
When?
As soon as we can.
Alright, let's get set up. To start, every player will be dealt 2 child traits. Choose one. Then take the amount of resources on it, such as knowledge, creativity, and influence. Also take your hourglass markers, stress track marker, short-term happiness marker, and long-term happiness marker. You have a board with spaces for projects, items and activities, jobs, partners. Also draw 3 life goals to place near the board. Place the round marker on the teen space, and unavailable action tokens on the get job space, start relationship space, and overtime space, as they will be unavailable during the teen phase. Also place your long-term happiness marker, stress track marker, and short-term happiness marker. Rounds will start off in the teens and eventually end in old age, ultimately with your death. The oldest player gets the first player token. At least you got that going for you. And now you're ready to begin the game.
Very nice to meet you.
Who want to play with the question mark flipping it?
Huh? Do you have some questions for me?
What is the question?
Aren't you supposed to know what you're asking me?
Are they getting sucked under?
Who?
I wish it could open.
What?
A dancing flower.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Nope.
I'm so confused.
Why aren't there robots in this game?
That's a good question. I think they should be scarecrows myself.
The pursuit of happiness happens in a series of rounds. Within each round, you have an upkeep phase, an action phase, and an end of round phase. In the upkeep phase, you advance the round token, then discard all the projects, item activities, jobs, and partners that are on the board, and draw new cards for each of those rows. This is also when you look at the stress track to see how many hourglass tokens you have for this round, how much stress you take for cards, and pay any upkeep costs you have. Then in the action phase, players take turns placing an hourglass marker on an action space or a card. Play until all players have no more hourglass markers. Then, at the end of the round phase, gain additional awards from group projects. You'll set aside certain single-shot projects or completed projects, take back your hourglass markers, determine the first player, and reset the short-term happiness indicators.
What did you like about this game?
That I can become a karaoke master without having to actually go out for real-life karaoke.
Will you play this game again?
Does an average garden snail have roughly 14,000 teeth? The answer is yes.
Hey, what's happening? What's that?
What sound? I don't hear anything.
What is that?
It wasn't me.
Well, for lunch.
What would you like for lunch?
Farts. Lots and lots of farts.
Okay, that's a strange request.
Would you add anything to it?
I know what I wouldn't add to it. Fire. Or food aroma air freshening sprays. That just ends up gross. Apple cinnamon does not cover up smell. It does not. It just ruins smells that used to be delicious by mixing them with and associating them with the smell of...
So, I'm sure the question on everybody's mind is, what kind of actions can you take? Well, you can study.
Boo!
There's nothing wrong with studying. You can play.
Hooray!
You can interact.
No one understands me.
And I'm not allowed outside. Or in public.
Unless you're trying to interact with one of these two guys. You can get money from a temp job. You can take on projects, which can include basic ones at your own pace, like acting in a play. There's also single round projects, like being at a festival, or group projects, where everybody can contribute. You can spend money on items or activities such as cars or going to concerts. You can rest, helping to alleviate some of the stress that you may have accumulated. After the teen round, 3 more actions become available. You can get a job, so you can make more money than temp jobs. You can start a relationship, even a family, but you have to work on your relationship first. Or you can do overtime, which will put quite a bit of stress on you, but it'll give you an extra hourglass marker for that round. Now, many of these cards can be advanced later by placing a token on them as an action and paying any costs. Jobs, relationships, and items will normally have upkeep costs. The more you advance them, the more rewarding they can be. But the more upkeep they will have as well. This will continue round after round until you reach old age. There are 3 old age rounds, and if you happen to survive the first 2, you won't survive the last one. No one survives the last round. No one. And once everyone is dead, points are counted up through inheritance and life goals. For every 5 resources or money, get a long-term happiness. Check the 3 life goals that were drawn, and players who achieve them also gain long-term happiness. Long-term happiness may have already been acquired as well during the game. Whichever player has the most long-term happiness wins.
What did you think of the game?
Well, it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Will you play it again?
I will. And I have.
What did you like about it?
I get to choose a life not near a road, where I don't live a parent basement dwelling life with the occasional internet site to keep me warm on those many lonely nights.
What do you not like about it?
setting up tablecloth after tablecloth, cardboard box after cardboard box to give myself a change of scenery. It's a lot of... Oh wait, you mean about the game? I don't know. How it reminds me of real life.
Why?
How you mock me. Are you enjoying this, tormentor?
Is it lunchtime yet?
No. I'm not wearing a watch, but I'm pretty kind of certain that it's not. Why are you asking?
I'm mostly always hungry.
Would you care for a pony sandwich? Well, any thoughts aside from the do we really win if we all end up dying anyway?
I like it. It seems creative and interesting, and successfully captures a new life of endless possibilities.
Well, we like to pretend that too. Anything to add? Yeah, I like how the relationship cards are double-sided, one side male, the other side female, allowing you to choose whatever your preference. But I'm disappointed that there are no alternate species that we could choose from. Stuck choosing only from Homo sapiens. Seems very species of the creator, and I would have to say that is a major negative to this game. I think you may be alone in that. Speciesist! Yes, I'll try not to let my personal opinion get in the way. So, personally, hey! Haha! Anyways, personally, I'm not sure why I got this game. You live a life doing things like building relationships, buying stuff, taking on projects, and getting a job. Just like real life, until you die. Sounds fun. Why would anybody think this sounded fun, or even exciting? If you ask me, it sounds boring. No saving the world, no traps, no fighting aliens or monsters or racing or dice rolling or anything. But for some reason, maybe it was the colorful board, or maybe I thought, hey, let's try it out. So, I did. And this game is way more fun than it sounds. It's different from all those other ones. There's tons of possibilities. There's some management with your upkeeps and what you want to pursue. Sometimes you're taking chances on what you think you might want, or what's available, at least at that time in your life. Throwing down hourglass markers, realizing you don't have much time. And you'd like to invest time into certain projects or relationships. So you do overtime to try to catch up, but it takes a toll on your health, putting one foot into an early grave. And at the end, there's no escaping it. You will die. Now, you can extend your life by taking on certain healthy projects, but it just extends it a bit, because you can't live forever. You can also put an hourglass on an action you have already done, but that causes stress. In the end, it ends up being a really fun game, seeing what you've done, what you've completed. Like the title says, a lot of that fun is in the pursuit of it. The way you need to manage your tracks can be challenging. Sometimes it is a bit frustrating when you grab an available card and then the new one in its place is something you would rather have. But it's also something the other players will nab before it gets back to you. You can play very strategic and really try to complete the life goals, as that will get you more points, or just do what I do, and I do whatever I want, and see how it turns out. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes, well, that's fun. The art's very colorful, and I think it's really well done. The game can be played for 1 to 4 players. It's okay if you're a solo player. I mean, this is one of those games where you could play solo. And I do like games where you could play solo. But it is better with other players. If I were to complain about anything, the box and insert was a bit flimsy. And it would have been nice to have the board bigger to include spots for the dex and life goals, although the board is fairly big to begin with. Is it really a big deal? No, I'm nitpicking here. Because, really, there is a pretty good solid game here. If you wanted to play a game about life, scratch that. If you wanted to play a fun game about life, you might want to check this one out. Aside from the recommended age of 12 and up, it's a game that can be fun for everyone. For the young, for the old, although they might not want to be reminded that they're heading towards the old age rounds. For gamers, non-gamers,
even wolves,
even
scarecrows.
Let's not get carried away.
Hey.
Okay, maybe even scarecrows. It's not a game I will play all the time, but it's definitely coming out on those days I want something a bit different than all the dice chucking or
fantasy,
sci-fi,
survival,
deception games. Something where we compete, occasionally have a group project, but aren't attacking each other or fearing for our lives from something, at least not from anything other than time itself. And by that time, hopefully it's been a good time and a good life. I'd recommend at least checking out Pursuit of Happiness, especially if you like a family-friendly, fun game. So, I'm obviously going to keep this on my shelf. Thank you for watching. This is Cottondonkey, out. Thanks for being here.
Bye!
I love those kids.
Yeah,
but there's still one thing that bugs me.
What's that?
They don't look like baby goats.